Hello, everyone. In this series, we've discussed how hopefully we can provide some insights and assistance in helping businesses return to the workplace, reopen safely, and ultimately, I think, reinvent for future success. We've covered topics like contact tracing and triage. We've introduced new terms like new normal and next normal and fit for work and shift management. In our last discussion, we talked about command center and putting all of our data and decisioning into a central place so that we can get more into a predictive mode on what's going to happen. We've also talked about the real human challenges of sort of managing all of this in the face of uncertainty and not entirely knowing what's going to come next. But we thought we would sort of finish this series perhaps on a bit more of a positive note. And so, we all look forward to the days when we can return to whatever our new normal is going to be, but that we can do so in a way that we're all optimistic about the future. And, I know even from where we sit today, 3 months into this thing, I'm certainly optimistic about our future. I'm optimistic about the future for the companies that we have an opportunity to serve as well. And we always say that, the companies the strongest companies will emerge from crisis stronger. And so I think we're going to talk a bit today, Bill, about some considerations for reimagining the future, some things that we're seeing, and maybe provide a few tips for what we do next.
First off, I think it's a great recap of all the things we've discussed on our series together. And I think that this crisis, very much is about navigating where we are, the state that we're in, but most importantly, as you mentioned, reinventing ourselves for the future. And at the end of the day, it's very much about this process of empowering our people and making sure they have the right tools. It's about thinking about the processes of tomorrow and making sure that we can transform in this maybe touchless kind of experience like never before. And it's also about using great technology to make decisions. And so, like you said in prior session, people, process, technology, it all comes back to those three things that we've been saying for a long, long time. I think one of the crucial points that we're in right now is this willingness to change moment. And like you, I've never been more encouraged than I am right now about some of the transformations I see businesses going through to not just survive this crisis, but to navigate safely through it and to come out a better organization on the other end. Some of this is about reshaping a company and thinking about kind of the products of tomorrow. Some of this is about digital transformation and really thinking about, hey, if we weren't digital before, we'd better be now, and thinking about what does that kind of new experience look like. But at the end of the day, I think the most fundamental kind of traits that organizations are going through this change need is one, thinking about their customers, and two, thinking about their employees. And this confluence between customer employee becomes this new arsenal that organizations can tap into to reinvent themselves around the needs of the customer and the needs of the employees that serve that customer like never before. And I think that fundamental trait is leading to that process of reinvention. It's leading to the changes that we need around employee engagement, the changes that we need to be able to work from anywhere around today's kind of business models that are presenting in front of themselves. And I think this is just one of those times that we're going to look back, kind of like Y2K was a big transformation this early part of my career. I think COVID-19 is going to be the next transformation age that we see, clients really assessing themselves for the future. And to your point, coming out better on the other side of this, because in this moment, we've become more agile. We've become more digital. We've become, less about the past and more about the future. And I think that's going to be really important for us to lead with. And I'm sure your clients are telling you the same thing.
It's true, Bill. We've seen a lot of really amazing examples of how companies are rethinking themselves at what's been a very challenging, very somber time. And so it's very interesting to sort of spend time with and meet with our clients. And on one hand, hear from them and talk with them and really share stories about the challenges that we've all faced. And then at the same time, talk about the optimism we have for the future because of what our teams, our people, our companies have proven that we're able to do and the way that we're able to innovate in this time. I mean, we have seen companies move to a remote work environment faster than we ever thought possible. At Accenture, we moved over 500,000 people in a matter of days to a remote environment. We've seen B2B companies become B2C companies overnight. We've seen companies market, sell, and serve from anywhere. I am marveled by some of the TV commercials I watch right now, and I think to myself, the majority of that TV commercial was produced from people's apartments and their homes. And it's just unbelievably poignant and relevant in terms of the message and what they're able to bring forward. And I think when I talk to our people, when I talk to our clients, I think there is a sense of energy and enthusiasm. I think there's a very positive spirit in terms of what's to come. And I think this period has taught us a lot. And I do think that we're going to emerge from it stronger.
Those are incredibly inspiring stories, Yusuf. And I think what we have to always remember is the human resolve is the biggest innovator, that allows us to, unleash our full creativity about what's possible. And for many of those that are tuning in to our webinar, I didn't know that there are stories of transformation and success out there. Just as many of those as there are for, stories that are where the unfortunate circumstance have had to come in as well. And throughout this learning, this moment that we're really tuning in, we have to understand that it's now more than ever that the fundamentals of putting customers and employees at the center of your experience are really the most crucial investments you can make. And this is why I'm really excited about truly the durability and the differentiation of Salesforce's Customer 360 strategy, really, again, allowing an organization to get that full picture of the customer, the full picture of the employee, and to adapt the solution to the needs of the moment, if you will. And I think that's truly, something that in this moment in time, this investment, this in your customers, in your employees, is probably the most important investment to make. Would you agree?
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I will tell you, we've always been very proud to be a partner of Salesforce, but I've felt a different level of inspiration sort of working with you all here in the last several weeks and months around this, because I know we've always had shared values, and I know we've always kind of seen things the same way, but I've been really proud of how our companies and the people inside our companies, including working with you personally, we've really come together around how do we actually make an impact, how do we solve a problem. And certainly, of course, we're in business and we want to do that successfully, but we really believe in the Customer 360 platform. We believe in the Work.com product. We've been really pleased to be able to make a positive impact together in the public sector and now increasingly in the private sector. And so looking forward to doing more of the same.
Well, you know this, but the feeling is more than mutual, and the ability for us to innovate together is truly inspiring. And I think the impact we have jointly for our customers is not just powerful, but it's just urgent and needed, in this moment in time. And again, as your partner, so excited to see the best days, coming ahead of us. So maybe that's where we can close, for our all of our audience members tuning in. Where can people go from here to learn a little bit more about how they can see the best of this innovation partnership together?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you all for listening to our series here and for spending some time listening to Bill and I riff back and forth. The next thing I would say to you is that Salesforce and Accenture are jointly very committed to your success. And I would ask you to hold us accountable to that. I would ask our joint customers to be the third leg in that stool in terms of really rallying around our people, around thinking about how we use our joint capabilities to create success for your organizations, and to do so in a way that's meaningful for each of you, to do so in a way that's sustained in terms of long-term potential and opportunity, and to do so in a way that's also sort of understanding of the environment that we're going into and some of the uncertainty that we all face. But I think, at least from us, we're in it together and we're in it with you, and we look forward to seeing you and talking more in the future.
Thank you all. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon.